you have to like actively update, or you have to like update the block by putting a little flicker signal into it to make sure that it's set in the right state. And that little flicker signal is what this thing here, what that is. So every time you go into a junction, it turns it on and off very quickly, just to make sure that it's set properly. Otherwise, the junctions won't work regularly because instead of loading the train track and then processing the redstone signal, it processes the redstone signal and then loads in the train track, and loading in that afterwards means that it doesn't actually update. Right, basically. And I guess that's what's happening with the redstone lamp as well. Because the moment I broke the redstone dust on top of it, it updated, right? At the moment I updated a neighboring block, it updated. Isn't that wild? different components load in at different times. Like, this quote-unquote chunk loading is not actually... You don't actually load the whole chunk at the same time, right? Like, you load the visuals separately from loading in the redstone, separately from loading in the minecart's tracks, separately from loading the redstone lamps. I guess the redstone lamp would be on the lighting thread and not on the redstone thread. There's a minecart thread, there's a redstone thread, there's a lighting thread, there's a visuals thread, there's a block placement thread. And they all load the chunks in for their particular purposes at different times. Wild! How would you fix this? Would it make sense to force the redstone thread to load in before all the others? Right? Like before you load in visuals, like you've already loaded in the redstone. Before you load in the minecart tracks, you've already loaded in the redstone. Would that make sense? Like how would you... Which threads should you prioritize, and like what should you like enforce a certain order of loading to make sure things don't break? If we load redstone in before everything else, would that somehow break other things in other situations? It kind of would, right? Imagine if you load in the redstone before you load in the mobs, and then you have some sort of redstone operated mob trap. That might break things. That might break the mob trap, or whatever like mob interaction you have. If you force load in the redstone first, might break that interaction, for example. I mean, if you load in the redstone stuff first, and then you load in the mob stuff, loading in the mob stuff would update the redstone stuff. So whatever redstone machine you have interacting with the mobs, it would be updated by the mobs loading in. Versus, if you load in the mobs first, and then you load in the redstone. And then I guess you would update the redstone on load. Then it doesn't... Wait a minute. Hold on. I do know that if you load in the minecarts... stuff before you load in the redstone. And then you have the redstone activate, then the minecart tracks would set properly. If you load in the redstone stuff first, and then you load in the minecarts, unless you force all the minecart stuff to update on load. You know what, maybe they should just force everything to update on load. And they'll be fine. Because things I think tend to only update if an adjacent block has been interacted with. I think. I'm not sure. Like, force any switchable component to update on load. Would that fix everything? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It would make sense though, wouldn't it? Everything that is switchable should be updated on load. Alright, we continue to go 5-5. Good news. Oh, on a completely unrelated note. You know how if you put an item in an item frame, you can right click to rotate it, I believe? Can you use redstone to rotate things in item frames? And I hope you understand where I'm going with this. You just have stuff spinning on the wall all the time. Like you put an item frame on a clock signal, and it's just like whatever you put in the item frame just spins around the whole time. I think we need that in Minecraft. Just spinning stuff on the wall. Can we make that happen? Can we make item frame things rotate on a redstone signal? Aren't there like heads? Like they like put a Steve head in there and then like... Yeah, like put a Steve head in and then just have it rotate. Or what if you can like make it point in a particular direction depending on the strength of the redstone signal going in? Oh, that'd be good. That'd be fun. Like things just spin around. And you can like make it like tilt back and forth. Put a Steve head in and he's just like he's just doing this. He's doing this the whole time. Oh yeah, bobbleheads. Bobbleheads in Minecraft. It's just bobble. Let me look it up. Minecraft item frame. Oh, my item frames are entities in Java Edition. Are the entities in Bedrock? Alright, we're going to 5.5. Alright, we have successfully gone to 5.5. Let me, item frame. Alright, rotating an item produces a redstone signal. It doesn't turn things based on receiving signals, but it does output a signal when you rotate things in an item frame. Alright. That's not nearly as fun. That's not nearly as entertaining as spinning items in an item frame. We don't have variable lamps, do we? We don't have lights that have different light levels depending on how much redstone goes into it, right? But you can kind of create one if you like have a stack of lamps in a tube, and then like you light up the furthest one if it's like for quote unquote dim light, and then like you just light closer and closer to the ground, so you have variable brightness on the ground. You could do that, I guess. I was thinking because the item frame can give you different signals depending on the rotation of items. You can like rotate the dial on the item frame to like turn up and turn down. You can make it light dimmer, basically. You can dim the lights. Not that that's useful or anything. Anyway, let's go to Sentinel. Sentinel used to break, right? Let me like just test the encoder in Sentinel exhaustively as well, just to see if it still breaks or if that's been fixed. What do I want to do first? What time is it? We have 40 minutes left today. Most of the day was just testing. I want to do the alright, let's do like the music project. The drum loop project. Let's do that first, after the train tracks are done.